Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be all about heart attack. So what is heart attack? Heart attack is a medical emergency, right? It occurs when there is reduced blood flow to the heart muscle itself, which is the second layer of the heart, myocardium. So there is formation of necrosed tissue, or say the tissue becomes dead because of reduced blood flow. This reduced blood flow is because of blockage of some artery in which is coronary artery, right? So when there is blockage in the coronary artery due to atherosclerosis or a thrombus formation, right, it will block the blood flow to your heart and the heart will not have enough oxygen for it to thrive. So the muscle will be dead and there will be formation of an infarct. So this is called as a heart attack. So these days we hear a lot about heart attack in young people below the age of 50, right? So it is not a common event to occur before the age of 50. So why is it happening right now? What is wrong with India and the world right now? We're going to discuss about the risk factors for heart attack. One of the major risk factors is atherosclerotic plaque formation in your arteries, such as in coronary arteries, right? There is collection of lipids such as LDL cholesterol, right, with collagen cells, some inflammatory cells, and ultimately there is a plaque formation which will reduce the size of the lumen of the artery. So there will be less blood flow passing through the artery when it is blocked by it. So this atherosclerotic plaque, it is formed by what, right? Exactly what causes this phenomena? So smoking, hypercholesterolemia, obesity, diabetes mellitus, chronic alcoholic disease, which is just a term for chronic alcohol users. So all these things can affect your atherosclerotic plaque formation. So one of the major reasons for it is smoking. So smoking is dose related in case of heart attack. So more cigarettes you smoke in your life, the more chances are there of developing heart disease in your life. Also obesity, because these days we are eating processed food, which is mostly in India, it is mostly made of palm oil. It is very high in saturated fat. Almost 50% saturated fatty acids are present in it. So if you eat a diet which is full of fatty acids, saturated type, and you do not eat healthy fats, balanced fats, you consume a lot of LDL, but you do not consume a lot of HDL. HDL is good cholesterol, LDL is bad cholesterol. So LDL is going to be that cholesterol which is going to form a plaque in your arteries, in coronary arteries. So obesity is a major factor for this disease. Diabetes mellitus. More cases of heart attack are noted in the cases of diabetic patients. Less cases are in normal people, right? Next on our list is alcohol. So if you consume a large amount of alcohol and you have been drinking throughout your life for years, like decades, okay, it is going to cause an alcoholic injury to your blood vessels, mainly to coronary arteries. What is it going to do? It is going to bring the smooth muscle cells and cholesterol and inflammatory cells into the tunica intima of your coronary arteries, which is the inner layer of the artery. And there it is going to get accumulated and ultimately a plaque, which is a atherosclerotic plaque, it will be formed. So it is ultimately going to harm you in the same way smoking is going to harm you. The myth has been debunked that 60 ml or 30 ml a day is cardioprotective. No amount of alcohol is cardioprotective. Every drop of alcohol that goes into your body is going to cause you heart disease because of atherosclerotic plaque formation. Then genetically and gender, there are other reasons, but the major reasons which are in your control, which you can reduce, are obesity, diabetes mellitus, alcohol usage, smoking, right? Don't live a sedentary lifestyle. Go to the gym, exercise, run, jog, do whatever you can do at your age. Okay, so we are talking about coronary artery diseases, which are also called as ischemic heart diseases, IHD or CAD. So these are basically of four types, right? One is stable angina, the other one is unstable angina. Then there is myocardial infarction, which is also of two types, which is non-ST elevation myocardial infarction and ST elevation myocardial infarction. So unstable angina, non-ST elevation myocardial infarction and myocardial infarction with ST elevation, these three are categorized under acute coronary syndromes, right? So now we'll ultimately discuss in brief about all of these. So stable angina is that disease or that heart disease which is relieved upon rest and occurs upon exertion only. It is never going to occur on its own on rest. And when you give sublingual nitrates, it is going to be relieved by itself. So, in this kind of heart disease, that is stable angina, there is a stable occlusion present in the lumen. It is not completely occluding the lumen. It is present in the form of an atheroma, which is basically an initial form of atherosclerotic plaque, right? It has not ruptured yet. It has just started to form. It is a fixed obstruction, right? So it is going to block all of the time, but in small amounts. So it is going to cause chest pain. It is not going to cause any significant damage to the muscle yet. The next one is unstable angina. So this one is a little severe. Unstable angina is any chest pain which has been increasing in frequency. That is, if stable angina is increasing in frequency and it is increasing in severity, it can be leading to unstable angina. Also, in cases of unstable angina, there could be presence of coronary artery vasospasms. Also, in this one, now there is atherosclerotic plaque rupture, and thus it is going to lead to thrombosis in the lumen. So it is going to cause major blockage as compared to stable angina. So the next one on the list is non-ST elevation MI. It is an episode of myocardial infarction. So there is going to be heart muscle damage. It is going to cause damage to the muscle, that is, it is going to cause necrosis of the heart muscle ultimately. But there is not going to be an ST elevation. I will explain what is ST elevation in a bit. And in case of ST elevation myocardial infarction, there is going to be again damage to the, that is, infarction formation in the muscle, but it is going to be accompanied by ST elevation. So in both of these cases, that is non-ST elevation MI and ST elevation MI, there is going to be cardiac markers in the blood because of cardiac damage. So troponin T and I along with creatine kinase M and B is going to be elevated in both of these cases. What separates them or what makes them apart is the presence of ST curve elevated in the ST elevation myocardial infarction. So we'll discuss about all of it in detail in a bit. Okay, so what are the symptoms of a typical heart attack? There is going to be a chest pain which is like stabbing in nature. That is, it is piercing or heaviness on your chest. It is going to be very severe. It is basically retrosternal or precord in nature. That is, it occurs behind your sternum. The pain starts behind your sternum. Typically, it is present on the left side of your chest. It goes to left shoulder, both of your arms. It can lead to your jaw, neck. Some people report toothaches in it also. Jaw aches, toothaches, right? So ultimately, it is going to be a typical piercing, stabbing, heaviness on chest like pain, which is starting behind your sternum, leads to your left chest, shoulders, arms, neck, jaw, right? It is usually accompanied by a feeling of impending doom, like you're going to die anytime soon. You can also feel nausea, vomiting. Some diabetics basically collapse, right? They have cold and clammy skin, they collapse, they don't breathe, they stop breathing. It is a messy situation and it is a very dangerous situation in that. If the person does not feel any of this and suddenly collapses, it is called a silent myocardial infarction.